Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms, the podcast where we celebrate the untamed journey of womanhood. Here, we tell the stories of incredible women who have embraced their authenticity, inspiring others to do the same.
From entrepreneurs to artists, activists to adventurers, we share triumphs, challenges, and the beauty of self-discovery. These are the stories of women blazing their own trails, breaking free, and blooming unapologetically.
Join us to connect, be inspired, and celebrate the power of women's stories. Together, let's rewrite the rules and embrace our wildness.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms. I'm your host, Amanda Riley.
And I'm Cristi Riley. Welcome, everybody.
I just got done editing our last episode.
What did we talk about at nauseam?
Nothing too crazy.
Something.
Nothing. It's again, it's just the, I think the editor's ear of listening to the episodes. And I'm sure if you listen to them week over week, that's fine. But I listened to each episode multiple times as well as doing the episode. So I'm like, man, we really
have to stop talking about the weather.
We really dog on healthcare.
Oh, we do.
Hard.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's okay.
I don't mean to dog on healthcare.
It's we have a lot of alternative healers on the show.
We do.
You know what I mean? I think it just is a natural thing. But I was just laughing earlier. I did edit a part out that we just were really giving a knuckle sandwich out there. And I was like, you know what?
I was in the medical field for 30 years. I'm not trying to dog on my brothers and sisters out there in healthcare. I do believe that people are really trying their best and go into it with big hearts and trying to help people. I just think that the model,
it's a system. It's just a system.
The system is not really looking towards health. It's looking towards disease.
I have a dear friend who is in a health-related field, and she is talking about the quota of how many kids she has to see every day and like how much they ride her. And it's like, that's not fair to those kids. It's not fair to her. And it's the systems in place. It's never really the people. And if the people are a victim of the system, it's hard to be mad at them.
And I had no idea for years.
Yeah.
It's just the system I was in, and you didn't really question it. It was just, you assumed good intentions and things were well. And it wasn't until I was much older, my last 5 or 6 years, really, I became really eyes more wide open and understanding that we're not really approaching any of this from a real health standpoint. We're approaching it from a disease treatment standpoint, and that is the medical model.
Yeah. And we talked about that at nauseam.
Yeah.
Episode.
But again, it takes both. And I love that Tia said that. It takes both. So no offense to all of our medical professionals out there. We love you. We're supporting you.
Yeah.
It definitely is not a dig on any one person. Yeah. It's just the system in general. That's sometimes a struggle for me.
Yeah. It's just been interesting because the last, that's been the most reoccurring theme. And I'm like, boy.
Where's that weather talk again?
Yeah, back to the weather.
Back to the goddamn weather, girl. What the hell?
I had to edit out multiple times of Willie trying to eat things in here, so that was a good relief.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Willie's funny.
Willie's trying to off himself with
I was like
with plants and electrical cords quite regularly.
Chocolate. He got into chocolate. He got into a ant trap last time. So it was truly a wild ride. But
we're just trying to keep him alive. That's where we're at.
That's all you can do.
That's where we're at.
He did give me a gnarly bite right on my chin. And I said, Willie, it's not your fault. He's a boy.
Teaching him.
He's a little boy.
I'm trying to teach him. Sometimes I'm ready to kill him. He's walking across the yard and he's nipping at my flip-flops and my heels. I'm like, stop.
Please don't.
So instead, I've got to turn around with my treats and be like, come and
Do what I
sit,
say.
do what I say. And then I turn around. He's like, I'm like, oh, that's
Oh, Willie boy.
hysterical. But we love him. He's almost sleeping through the night now, so that's good. That's
all you can ask for.
Praise God.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's having an infant again.
Totally.
Not sleeping. So.
Yeah. Well, all I know is that my husband's out of town tonight.
Oh.
And so that means
you love these nights
peacefully once we're done tonight. Nice. All throughout the night. He's been doing this new thing when my alarm goes off and he's like, hi. And he like wakes me up when I'm like, that's the purpose of this alarm. You don't need to wake me up to tell me my alarm's going off because my alarm is doing that exact job. So I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Nice. And then hit the gym tomorrow. Busy week. So yeah, busy week. I agree. We're leaving for Canada on Sunday too. And horseshoe show this weekend, babysitting the grandbabies. One set one day, another set another day. So it's going to be a crazy weekend before we leave too. So
trying to get it all in.
Yeah.
Well, today's guest.
Yes. Today's guest. I found her on social media. Yeah. I just really liked her platform. I liked her vibe. Went to her website. Astrology, tarot cards. She brings together, she's out in Arizona. She brings together a lot of, some may say woo-woo folks that are just doing some really cool stuff and hold circles and meditation on Zoom. And she's just doing and it's called A Little Bit of Kindness. It's her website, which I loved, and I was immediately drawn to it. And it was woman run, and I was like, she should come on.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to this lady and see what made her decide to start A Little Bit of Kindness.
I love that. So excited to talk to Frankie and hear more about what she's all about.
Yeah, can't wait.
Well, hello, Frankie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Frankie. It's good to meet you.
You too. I'm so glad to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting me. And I've heard wonderful things. I know my friend's daughter Olivia was on, she said, and she just couldn't say enough good things about you guys. So I'm so excited. And I love how part of our mission is what we're doing is empowering others. And I love how your whole thing is about empowering women and uplifting instead of, the normal societal roles of what you would think with women. And I just think that's really incredible. So thank you for doing that, guys.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's all about uplifting them in whatever role they decide they want to be in, right? all the ways. So we're happy to do it. We do feel like we're coming into the age of women, if you will. We're coming back into the age of matriarchy, hopefully. I hope we're making that shift soon. We're here for it.
Totally. I have two daughters who are in their 20s, and female studies were a big part of their college thing. So, I think it's important. And I think just when you find, we call the group that we have, the Spirit Tribe Tea Talk show for our new show on YouTube and our podcast, is all about empowering women. And that's how the six of us came together, is through a retreat. And it all became we're the ones that uplift. So the minute you have something positive to say or you want to share something, we have a group chat going all the time, and they go to dinner once a month. And it's all about bringing all the good stuff that you want to share with people instead of worrying about sometimes, family, especially, or people who are closest to you, they can want to tear everything apart and tear it down, and it can get really discouraging. So it's really great to have that group or tribe, we call it. And that's kind of the message I heard over the years as I was building the community in Arizona is everyone's we found our tribe. We found our tribe. And I kept hearing this resounding voice, what's a tribe? Like a tribe. We're in Arizona, right? So it's native, right? So that's part of it. And I did some travel nursing and worked on the reservations, which was really cool to meet people along that journey. But it's all about coming together with like-minded people, right? And people who see the same things and share the same mindset and just being positive and uplifting. And that's really what I'm trying to build, is this A Little Bit of Kindness community where it's all about, you never know when that one little smile you gave someone or that thing you said might really resonate with them, and you might not think much of that. And I can think of numerous stories because I'm the person who will pick up the homeless guy with two dogs and drive him 50 miles. My kids have always been like, "What are you doing?" They can't tell my parents. They freak out. Or the lady at the grocery store will be like, I go, what are you doing for the holiday? And she'll be like, nothing. And I'm like, come over at our house.
Yeah, come on over.
My teenagers got to the point where they're like, you cannot do, like, well, we are at home. You cannot do that. So,
We do not feel comfortable with this, Mom. Strange people coming over for the holidays seems weird.
Well, we would love to know about you. Where did you grow up? What was your family dynamic? Tell us everything. Start from the beginning.
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I'm kind of back in the Cleveland area right now for a new grandbaby. Um, I didn't have the best home life. I think my parents left when we were little. They didn't raise us. My grandmother did, my paternal grandmother. Um, they were kind of flower children, really young, 18, not really challenge. And I love them dearly. So if they're listening to this, like my dad is still around, but they weren't really kid people, and they still kind of kid people, even with my own kids, you know. But my grandmother, she did the best she could. She, raised us. We had an acre. We ran around like crazy, and we're outside in nature. And so I just was always really independent. I'm the oldest. I have a younger sibling. And so, I guess you don't know any different, right? That's what you know. I come from a substance abuse family too. So everyone in my family has substance abuse or addiction issues. So, I kind of got to like generation with my, some of my kids. And so it became like a thing where, finally I started to see some of them get, so it took my brother, 20 years to get sober. Um, my parents will probably tell you they were functioning alcoholics, um, kind where maybe you don't want to answer the phone after 6 o'clock at night because it won't be such a nice conversation, right? So,
Right.
um, but, so I kind of grew up in that environment, being very independent. And I guess that's probably why I'm still like really strongly independent myself. Um, did a lot of Al-Anon, did a lot of that Codependency No More book is a big book. I love Wayne Dyer. He was like a really big help to me in my 20s and growing up. So like anything that he put out, I loved reading. It just really resonated with me. And so as I grew up, I was kind of very self-sufficient. I did run away at 18 because I ended up having to go live with my dad and his new wife. And at age as a teenager, I wasn't really up for that, having a mom at that age. And my husband was always at his shop working, so he wasn't really around. So it really kind of felt like, in a way, my brother and I kind of raised ourselves. If we wanted to do something, we signed ourselves things. My grandmother fed us and took care of us, but she, wasn't that active. But I did think I was just always really headstrong and independent. So I was always kind of like, I want to do this and I'm going to do it. Right. And I didn't always have that acceptance. Like, I didn't care if I was popular or not. Like, I always hung around with the kids that nobody really cared for. Like, my lunch table was the table with, the quiet girl, the one who maybe was sweet and everyone picked on. I was always the kid who stood up. I guess I'm a Libra, so the injustice of things. If someone was picking on someone, I was right there jumping in. Like, it's unjust. I can't handle that. And I could be quiet, but I can't when it comes to injustice for somebody who's like, so, I was always rescuing stray animals, and I would always be told like bring them home, like just I've always had that nurturing. I always loved kids, so I was always the oldest cousin, and my aunt was really a very solid nurturing factor in my life. She was my father's sister, and she used to take me in the summer for a couple weeks, and she would always we'd go see her 4 times a year, and I drive my grandmother up there. So I always spent time with her family, and she had 5 kids. So, my cousins were kind of like brothers and sisters to me, and I was still the oldest, so I kind of babysat everybody. So I was always the babysitter. I was always the one who loved animals. Just all of that caretaking. That could be a factor of the environment that I too. I still am kind of a caretaker and have to watch just boundaries with that. And then I went into, after my divorce, to be a nurse, which of course is another caretaking facility. And in my nursing career in my 40s, I found myself gravitating towards correctional as I've been traveling, or working in juvenile, or working with kids because I love kids and animals. So I love working with kids aging out of the system. I love working with residential kids who have really bad trauma stories. I guess I can kind of relate in some way with that, you know. You can relate when they're supposed to have a visitation and that parent doesn't show up. I've been in that experience that firsthand. And so I have compassion. So I ran away at 18, kind of thought moving in with my biological mom would be better than living with my dad and his new wife. That was not the case. Nothing much had changed on her end, not really being around. So I was more taking care of the house there and things, and just kind of on my own. And then I wanted to go to school for fashion design. So I always loved sewing. I had kind of an so I kind of started putting myself through fashion school. I had all of these retail odd years. So I always worked 2 or 3 jobs. Been a single mom a lot of times. And then at 24, I had found out I was pregnant back in the early 90s when there wasn't really baby mama and daddies back then, right? The comment I would often get was when they'd be like, oh, who's the dad? And I'd be like, there isn't one. And they'd be like, I'm so sorry. And that was the thing. And you don't have to be sorry. I'm okay with this, right? I
Yeah.
was 24. I wasn't 18. Um, and he was just the light of my life. Loves and working and all of it, just kids and that to me. So, I always led this life of just kind of trying to be home with my kid, trying to do things that I really liked, never quite finishing fashion school because I had other things come up. But I started making wedding dresses for people and sewing. And so, I started doing alterations. I got to work for a sewing machine company, teaching sewing and traveling. But my whole family is entrepreneurial. My mom had a trucking company. Dad had an automotive shop. So like I grew up seeing that as like the norm. So for me, I always was trying new businesses. I had a hair salon. I went to school for, doing nails when I was pregnant. I'm a lifelong learner. So once I master something, I want to learn something new. So that's what keeps me going and interested. So I've also always like loved spirituality. So I was raised Catholic. But being raised Catholic, I could go to the service. I could say the whole service from heart, by memory. I could go to the communion, the confirmation. My grandparents, that's what we did on Sunday. We went to church, right? But it never really resonated. Like it didn't feel like it was there. And my friend and I from high school, I have a best friend that I'm still friends with, and she's a medium. She came into it in the early years, Olivia. So we've been friends forever. And so, we just used to joke around and go to like psychic fairs and get readings, and we joke around about it and have a good time. And then I just started going to Lilydale in my 20s and taking spiritual insight classes, which was a training for mediumship there. And so I take a weekend retreat there, and I take like every kind of class, anything spiritual. I love learning angels, meet your spirit guides, and essential oil class all day. I take Reiki 1 and 2. I take Enduring Virtues for the Angel card reading class.
She's like
Once,
that's like who got me into tarot cards. I know she doesn't do it anymore. She's kind of MIA now. But her goddess deck is like the one I use for all of my readings. I love her.
I love her angel card, her tarot deck. I use it all the time still, and I have a lot of other decks. And same thing, people say, well, like she's not. I'm like, that's okay, but she was, and she
Right.
created this beautiful deck. And there's nothing wrong with, everybody's life journey and path changes, right? So just because you're doing one thing today doesn't mean that you'll be doing that for the rest of your life. You could be, right? And that's totally fine if that's your thing. But I always describe life as like it's a twisted road, right? And we're on this road, and sometimes we take the straight path and get there quickly, and other times we take a longer journey because we want to sightsee a little bit, right?
Totally.
We don't want to take the nudges that spirit's giving us, right? And then I say things like breaking the arm here that I did, or having a major life change, sometimes spirit or universe or God or whatever you want to call it slams you in the face because you're not listening, right? And you're not on the right path. So there are times where, and I tell this often to the kids, to other people, like, everybody thinks that everything is great. I used to have that philosophy. Well, when I had enough money in the bank, or when I paid this bill off, when we fixed this thing in the house, everything was going to be right. And I've come to learn that like there's always going to be a challenge or a stumbling block, and it's kind of how you deal with it or makes or break you, and determines who's a strong person and who's not. And maybe we all need help at some time, right? Because none of us, and I'm the worst for asking for help. Believe me, I met my son and daughter lots with their new baby because I can't even take a shower. But I can't use my arm at all. So this has been an extremely humbling experience for me. Like I don't like independence. I've always been on my own, and so you have those times where some kind of lesson, and we joked, our spiritual tribe was joking, like, what was the lesson you needed to learn from, like, what's the lesson? So I'm trying to ask spirit in the universe, like, what is the lesson I need to learn this freaking hour? And we had to laugh because one of the cute paramedics, he's my age, was flirting with me the whole time that I broke my arm, and he was joking about our birthdays are like a day apart and we have to go out to dinner and stuff. And so at the end, he actually gave me his phone number at the hospital when he left me and took a selfie. I was cracking up. My friends were like, maybe you're meant to meet your future husband.
Never know.
Sounds like it.
Sounds like there's potential there.
I said, could be. I said, but damn, that's a hard way to live.
It's a great story later,
Yeah.
We met when Grandma fell down and broke her arm at the airport. Grandpa showed up to take her to the hospital.
I love it.
Like correctionals and in juvenile, it's opened my eyes to like you could be one step away from being that person who was there. Like it could be a really freak accident. You could lose your job. You could get cancer. Like so, when people are like thinking they're above anything going wrong, I say, appreciate what you have. Be grateful because at any time things can change drastically, and nobody is immune from those things happening. I said, and sometimes, what do we all say? Like, people turn away from religion when something really horrible happens, or you lose, like, especially, gosh, I can't imagine losing a child or a loved one, like something really like that. But I always say, like, there's always something to be learned or something that is come out of that, and no matter there's good or bad, so there's always something to be learned, a lesson in something, no matter what the situation is. So, love that story. I don't know if you saw that story about, I think he was a pastor, and he was announcing like a new pastor coming to take the church. And out front of the church was this homeless guy on the steps, and everybody was walking by and going into service, and they were being really rude to him and ignoring him and, making kind of rude comments and snubbing him. They all got into the service, and the homeless guy walked into the church, and everybody didn't want to sit by him and anything or associate with him. And then the pastor announces, well, I'm here to announce a new, pastor that's taking over. And they say his name, and here is John. And so, right there is such a big lesson to me. And that's kind of my thing is like, you walk the walk, like, it can't be just all of, I always say people can say a lot of things, but they have to show you that they really mean it, I said. And to me, actions speak better than words. And that might be because of like my background with my childhood and stuff. But to me, you can say a million things to me, but if your actions don't match your words, it's meaningless, And so I feel like, no matter what you do, you should try to always be kind to other people, because be kind to the janitor, be kind to the people taking care of you, because they're just people too, right? And none of us are better than anybody else. That's the whole like premise of starting, this journey when I lost Ohio 3 years ago. was, I had been through a divorce. I had, my kids had grown. I was doing the empty nest thing, and that really hit me harder than I said. I had 3 biological, 1 non-biological child that have lived with me, and they all kind of flew the coop and moved to different areas, right? And so 3 years ago, I was sitting at home, and my daughter said, "You're never going to meet anyone just sitting at home, right? And you always said you wanted to go do stuff, but you're not doing anything. You're just working and coming." And she's like, you wanted to travel and retire somewhere warm. And so I said, okay. I don't think they thought I was really serious, but 3 years ago, I up and sold my house, my car, everything, packed up a little bit of stuff in a storage unit, and I bought a 24-foot motor. And
Wow.
they were like dumbfounded. And I said, well, I'm going to start traveling. I have been doing some traveling nursing through COVID, and I'm like, well, travel nurse, I can do these camp work jobs. I kept checking out these camp sites. Camp work people are the most amazing people. If you ever get a chance to just leave everything, even if it's not, don't sell your house and car necessarily, but if you get to just get in a van or an RV for a while and just travel around, the most amazing people traveling all around it. And it's better if you have a partner. I wish I had a partner because then I think you have a travel companion. I have my cat and dog. That was my requirement. They had to come with
That's
me.
all you really need,
Yeah.
honestly. You were diving into spirituality, you were learning some of this. What really made you say, like, hey, I really kind of want to lean into this, give it my all?
So I guess 3 years ago when I decided to sell everything and start traveling, my whole basis was I wanted to find a spiritual community. Like, and I thought, well, maybe an intentional community. I looked at those, like maybe somewhere I could retire and stay. I wanted to go somewhere warm. I loved Sedona. I had always loved Sedona. It was one of my favorite places. So that was on my list. So I had chartography done actually. So I had someone do a chartography just to see like if she had some better areas. And some of the areas I mentioned to her, she, said could be potentials. There was a lot of criteria to the chartography. And then I set out with an atlas and I did some research, like where are hot springs on this journey? I'm going to travel across the whole US. So, like, let's make this fun. Let's take some nursing jobs. Let's stop some places, see some things. And where is it that I'm interested in maybe stopping in and seeing stuff? So, I marked a bunch of spots on like my atlas and I'm like, okay, these are spots I'm hoping to hit, right? At the same time, I took some nursing jobs that took me like way up to Page where I never thought I would be on reservation, but that was really a cool experience for 3 months and it's beautiful there. So I went to the hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque. Like I stopped in Santa Fe because I thought maybe there was a place there. I went to Ojo Caliente Hot Springs. I did a video on that. If you ever get to go there, that's an amazing place in New Mexico. I love it there. So I stopped in all of these places along the way, and as I was going, I was just finding like it just doesn't feel like right? And so I came down to Sedona and stayed there for a week. And I said to my one daughter, who said, your mom, everywhere you go, people kind of gravitate toward you have this energy that you start like a community. So why don't you start your own community? And I'm like, well, I never thought of doing that. Like that wasn't on my bucket list, but I am a reverend, so I guess I could start something. But I never thought that. So um, I just said, okay, I'm going to apply for a nursing job in Sedona and one down by Bisbee. I'd gone down to Bisbee and Tombstone down by Sierra and I thought it was a really neat area. And I got the job in Sierra Vista. So I ended up going down there, and within a few months of being there, everyone is so friendly, like so nice. I've made the most incredible friends there in the last 2 years. Like, how often can you go somewhere and make 5 or 6 really good friends that you want? And not only that, like I started from buying a 3-acre piece of property that I was hoping to turn into a retreat center where we had camping and yurts. So my ultimate goal was like, let's make this a place where you can go. Like, I love going to Omega. I love going to Lilydale for the weekend. I want to go and unplug. Let's make a mini, Omega, a mini Lilydale where people can come and we can have classes and teachers. And then I just started introducing myself to everybody. I started going in all the little stores and anyone who had anything in common. I took all these little silly jobs, like catering at the army base weekend, just to meet people and get out in the community. And the more people I met and the more I talked about my idea, and the realtor, when she sold me the property, says, well, why don't you use two of the guest rooms for Airbnb? So I did. For 2 years, I had people from all over, even other countries, come and stay in the Airbnb rooms. Now, they weren't necessarily spiritual people, although at the end, they started to meet more spiritual people, which was interesting. Um, I had this beautiful piece of property. We had this beautiful front porch. I painted it bright purple and Mediterranean colors. And I just said, I'm going to start this little center here. And so the whole living room was our classroom where we did yoga, meditation. I had my room and a little bathroom on one side of the house. The guests had the other room, and we had like a communal kitchen. And I turned the dining room into a little sitting area. I bought a bunch of yoga mats and chairs and tables. And I just started saying, hey, if you have a gift you want to share, because I don't want this to be the Frankie show. It's never been about this being the Frankie show, right? I can read cards, I can do Reiki, I can teach classes, pendulum, all of that. I want to encourage people to come together for community, right? And I want to grow their gifts. So, like, we all started off somewhere, right? Like, you had an idea for the show, right? And you probably thought, this is crazy, we can't do this, right? But you encouraged each other, right? I would imagine. So you need that, like, person who encourages you to step out of your comfort zone, especially when, like, family or friends are going, like, why would you even, like, my family, and I love them dearly. You'll be like, why are you doing that? What's wrong with you? Like, that's crazy. But I wanted people to embrace what they really love to do. And to me, as I'm getting older, it's more not about material things. I really don't need anything. And if you get rid of stuff and move into a 24-foot RV, you'll realize you don't need a lot of stuff, right? That stuff in the storage unit, sat there for a couple years. And I don't even know what was in that storage unit at the end. But you really don't need a lot of stuff to live and be happy. And that's kind of where I am. Like, even when I bought the property, I didn't buy a lot of stuff. Like, I was like, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it portable. Like, if we want to expand to a bigger location where we can build more yurts, have RVs parking, and people did. People started coming and staying on the property with our RVs. I put it on hip camp and met some really cool people. People were staying from Germany in the Airbnbs in France, and they'd come out and we'd have yoga going on in the morning where we worked with I went to the APL and said, would you let us borrow kittens and puppies for kitten yoga and puppy yoga? So they did. And so she brought people. So in 2 years, I built like an email list of like over 400 people. And I had people in the area who've been there forever say, how did you manage to bring these? We've been here a long time. We didn't even know she did this over here. She did that over there. But people would be coming in and going, we heard you're the person to talk to about teaching a class. What do you do? Like, what do you share with me what your gifts are and how can we bring them here? How can we offer them to other people? Like, we did combo with frog medicine. We did full moon ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, solstice celebrations. Like, we just did so many really fun events until we got to like a weekend event. And then I had this grouchy neighbor and realized that she kept complaining to us. So, you have these challenges, right? So everything wasn't exactly perfect, but I brought together so many people who wanted to teach classes that were afraid, people who, I encouraged, like, you got this, you can do this. Love to hear what you have to share. I think we all have gifts and talents, but we're kind of like, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal." But it is a big deal, right? And you all have things to bring to the table. And so sometimes just that little nudges, I'll be like, come on, like, what if you took like what you just talked to me about? You helped me create a spell. I'm not, spell work isn't my thing. I read about it. I studied every modality. I've taken a Wiccan class, right? It's not really a lot of like things to follow and too many steps for me, but I think it's really fascinating, right? And the way you explained it was all about nature, right? And all about using what's around you and crystals. And I already use crystals and I already use candles and I already use all of these things. So it's just bringing that together with everything I've learned over all of the 30 years of me studying spirituality. It's all about your intention, right? And intention is like a prayer, right? If you want to do healing, we say a prayer, right? In traditional religion. If you want to set an intention your words have power behind them. They have meaning. And so everything, and in your intuition, trusting your intuition, right? How many times like do you know something, but you doubt yourself, right? So I've always encouraged people, like it's all about, in all these classes I've taken, and I took a tarot class with Mary Greer and Rachel Pollack in Omega for 5 days. It was amazing. Again, it was that same like trust your intuition. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you so any tool is really reliant more on your intuition. And you don't need a tool to use tarot cards, mediumship. Like you don't have to have a tool. You can do it if you just trust your intuition. And the more you meditate, you tap into it, you like-minded people, the stronger those things become, right? And that energy is contagious. Like we filmed the show, and after the hour of filming the show, we're like energized. I do holistic fairs, like I started doing 4 holistic fairs in Sierra Vista a year, where I'd have vendors and guest speakers come, and I'd all these great people talking to them, like have a table, like teach a class, do a reading, do a healing session, you know? And so we'd have these great events with energy is just contagious. I just love it. You know, by the end of a class, the end of an event, you'd be so supercharged from the energy. And I love that feeling. And I love watching people blossom. I love watching them grow. And I love seeing that, that smile on their face, So it's easy to be critical, right? We can all be judgmental. Working really hard the last couple of years. That's been a big message. It's like everybody you meet is going through something, whether you know it or not. So there isn't
Totally.
one person who doesn't have a challenge going on, who doesn't have things that they're working through. So you had to be compassionate. They came into that, sprinkle a little bit of kindness, smile to someone. What does it take for you to compliment someone's outfit? If you really like it, I mean, not something fake, but if you walk by someone at the store and sometimes I've been like, that's a really cool sweater she has on her. Like, I'll stop and say, I think that's really cool. I love your sweater. And you see that person smile, like, light up.
And it
Like,
doesn't take much effort, I think we think too far into these things, and we work out at a gym, and anytime I see someone there that I can tell has like done something they haven't done before, or maybe they look really strong, like I try really hard to tell them that because I think you never know what kind of shift that can cause in their day. So, do you offer any services, or are you basically, so you retail, you do pendulum things, but do you offer those services, or do you more create the community and
but
workshops? Both.
so
Okay.
So we have the website, which has services available. So you can book online services right now. We're not doing a lot of in person. We are hosting a small retreat back in Sierra Vista. So we are utilizing a space there, and I'm encouraging all of the girls there that wanted to do something. And a client came to me and said, we want to come to that area and do something on this weekend. We're going to be visiting. So we planned a retreat for them.
Okay.
We are I have in the process an app being developed that will be ready before the end of the year, and it's an app for Apple and Google that will be encouraging. It's a networking app, but it's going to be called A Little Bit of Kindness. But it's going to be the app that's going to have like a category in yoga, meditation, positive mindset, magic. I think there's 6 categories, and the categories and we're looking for, and this is where I want to build the base nationwide. And I kind of came to this proposal when I was transitioning to come home. And I'm like, I'm going to lose this community. I don't want to lose all these people. I want to help still empower them. They were sad. I'm like, I might come back. But in the meantime, I've started doing TikTok and YouTube. Like, a friend said to me, the Reiki Fairy, she said, you need to be out there and doing these card readings for people on TikTok and on TikTok. She's like, they would love this, and do healing on TikTok with crystals. So she's like, just make these short videos. And I'm like, that's not really my thing. And so she got me to start that last fall. And I realized you can reach people globally, nationwide, who start responding. Like, and I've TikTok live. I try to go once a week. But I realized through doing this is that you can reach people so much broader. So we did the weekend retreat, and how do you get 10 or 20 women to sign up to pay the money for a weekend retreat to come all the way to where they already live? Like, that's not going to really work. So how do you
Yeah.
reach out and reach a broader audience to get that audience to come? So in combining all of this, I decided that an app I thought would be the best way is to have practitioners. We have like a program we're working on where you can make short videos for the app coming up. We'll put you in the category. We will advertise. You'll be on our practitioner page on the app and in our website. And through the little app, you can promote a positive mindset. You can do a short yoga video, stretching, a meditation, anything your skill set is, a crystal bowl. Like I'm looking to expand from my local practitioners to practitioners all across the US that want to share their gifts, want to make short videos, want to be featured on there. And then my ultimate goal is that people see you on the app. They love you. Your contact information is there. They can book services through your contact information. We're also adding a platform to the website, which I haven't quite done yet, but where we will actually offer services through the website. So if you want to offer online your services, you can do it through our website. And we'll just keep a small commission from it. But it will be a platform where if you don't have a website, I hear that a lot. Well, I don't want to have a website. I only do these few services. We will promote you through the website. They can book their services through your Google Calendar. They can book a Google Meet. It's all automated. So all you have to do is the annual fee for the service is like $100 or something for the year, and you get your service pages up there. You can offer 4 of your services remotely, and you can have clients book. So you can use it as your advertising page, so people can link right to your page, or they can link to all the different service providers for the website. We also
That's
do
awesome.
workshops. So we have workshops. I do like a free meditation, usually a free healing every month through that. And then we started the talk show. So the talk show we started to, cross promote. Like if you've ever had a question about a modality, about, maybe you want to learn about pendulums or magic work or spell work, I hear a lot like people are like, oh, I felt stupid. I didn't want to ask those questions, right? There is no stupid question. So this was
Mhm.
us coming together and saying, like, when we get together for lunch or dinner once a month, we all like talk about the new things we're learning. What book did you read? What class have you taken? And that kind of started the show as like other people want to hear this stuff. Like they have questions too. And then we started like, let's invite people onto the show, or do the small segments we're going to do because we only have one show a month and it's only an hour, right? So it goes pretty quick. But no, they want to learn. And I've heard so many times like, oh, well, I didn't want to ask that question. I didn't really know what that meant, or I didn't know what oracles were. And so it's a platform where we want to encourage people. You want to know about it? Let's do questions. Do you have live Q&A on the show? So if you want to ask a question, we had an acupuncturist on last Wednesday. She was awesome. She talked about sound healing and vibrations. It was so interesting. So it's just all about sharing, building this community. And if you are into metaphysical or spiritual beliefs and you're curious, you want to know more, our ultimate goal is we build this community network of providers and people community that 4 times a year we go to a different location for a weekend and we have a retreat. Or maybe you guys come and you're doing live podcasts at the retreat, and we have your favorite teacher you saw on the app who does yoga and you love her. She's going to be teaching some classes while you're there. And we're going to have like a positive mindset evening, and we're going to have like, maybe a campfire or a full moon ceremony, or like it's just going to be a weekend to go and just retreat, recharge, replug. You take as much or as little as you want to. You get to come and meet all these amazing people you've seen on TikTok, Facebook, the app, through workshops. Like, all of these platforms where we're all filming remotely, right? Isn't it great to come and meet these people and have like a really cool weekend? So that's
That's
the ultimate goal of the community. So
yeah. And you haven't booked any of those yet. The for a year. That's just your plan. That's what's in the
that's the
works.
plan. So
Yeah.
once the app launches through the end of the year, my goal now is to, get videos, start networking more with providers all around and help people like empower them to build their businesses too. Right? So it's not a competition. Like I think that's what I'm trying to discourage is I don't like it's in competition. None of us are in competition. we're all here, should be here to encourage each other. If we're in a positive mindset community where we are here to support people, and that's the community, and we're here to help enlighten people, shouldn't we be doing that with each other? Like
Totally.
I'm
Absolutely.
all about on my page, my Facebook page, I share like if there's something I think is cool and interesting and you might like to hear it, sharing it on my page. I would say I'm often disappointed that more practitioners don't feel that way. Like they don't
Yeah.
share other people's things and don't understand that. Like it just doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. If
Like,
people are interested either in booking a service or they're like, yeah, I want to be a practitioner and I want to be involved, where are all the different places they can follow you, book services, all of that? So
yeah.
socials, websites, anything.
So you can go to a littlebitotkindness.org, O-R-G, and you can message me through there. You can reach out. You can see on there some workshops we have, events we have coming up, services that we offer right now. You can go on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all of those to A Little Bit of Kindness, and it's all there. Like we're posting videos. The app we're going to be announcing coming up soon. We'll have more information once he's getting to the point where we can beta test the final things. But I am looking for practitioners to be part of. If you want to offer your services through the website or a class or a workshop, we love that. Like, please reach out through the website, a little bit of kindness.org. I'd love to get to meet you, see what you have to share. How can we work together? How can I help you build your business if it's not already where you want it to be? And how can I empower you? And how can you be part of our tribe and part of what we're building? So, and I love interviewing people too. So, like, we're always looking for people to interview, to talk to. I have a networking practitioner page on the website. So, if you want to offer just your contact information and a picture of what you do and a description, reach out to me because we have a form you can fill out and we will add you onto the practitioner network page. And then if someone's on there and they're looking for someone with the services that you offer, then, like I said, if you're going to do that, you might as well throw a video up or two on the app, right? So people get to see who you are. They can determine if they really like who you are. It doesn't take a couple, most videos are only a couple minutes long, 2 to 5 minutes. Put out what you're offering, talk about yourself, show me what you've got, show everybody what you have. Like, they're not going to
Right.
know if they can't see it. And
Totally.
unfortunately, we're in a
Agreed.
visual world, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
so reach out because we're looking to bring all kinds of incredible offerings, not just to feature people, but all of us who want to learn. Like I'm always interested in learning something new. So, and there's new modalities all the time. So if you've got something new that you put a little twist of your own onto, I'm really interested to see that and learn and see what you have to share. And I always say, take what resonates, leave the rest, right? So,
Absolutely.
Amen.
That's what we say
Absolutely.
every episode.
Every episode. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any women that you would like to give a shout out that's kind of inspired you along your journey in your lifetime that you want to give some credence to here?
feel like there's a group of women that I have met in the last couple years with Kendra and Valerie and Martha and I could go on with this list, Donna, Shannon, all of them, like Natalie, like they've all been so incredibly powerful and helpful and helped me like come up with ideas for the community. And I just love it. Like the energy of these women and the people I've met down in Arizona is amazing. And I'm extremely grateful. I think they would say they're extremely grateful for what I brought to the community, but I feel they really brought so much to my life and really empowered me to want to move forward with this and share and really grow it to a broader audience. And it's wonderful when you can call a group of friends and talk to them and they're like, yes, you've got this. You can do this. Like, we believe in you. Like that's just a wonderful feeling. So,
Love that.
Right. And for those people those practitioners who are listening that don't have the cheerleaders, this is the group for you. Right.
Totally.
This is a
Yeah.
group of women who are going to cheerlead you all the way
Support
you and what you're doing and not ask you questions like, why are you doing that? How are you going to make money doing that? Who's your demographic? Like, yeah, all of those questions that everybody that's listening knows what that's like. So
Totally.
it's what a great platform you're developing and what a journey you've made from doing it in person to doing it digitally. all in lieu of being a grandmama, which is going to be a whole nother journey for you. So,
and by the time this airs, I'm sure your app will be up because this will be like, I believe in September, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
We should
once
post
we get that, we would love to promote that for you.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thanks, ladies. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I think this is amazing, and I just feel grateful that you're having me on the show today.
Well,
Oh my
thank you for
gosh.
coming on.
Yeah.
We're grateful for you and all the stuff that you're doing too. And we need kind people in this world doing kind things for people every single day. And we appreciate you being a bright, shiny example of that for everyone around you.
Sprinkle some kindness wherever you go.
That's right.
Sprinkle some kindness has to be the name of this episode.
I agree.
So.
Sprinkle some kindness everywhere you go. I love that.
Well, remember, you can give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram. Watch us on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart.
And if this resonated with you or know any practitioners that can benefit from all of the things that we talked about today, please share it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Love you.